Hey, good morning, Facebook. Welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Gerry. I'm coming to you from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica. It's a beautiful day. The winds haven't started here yet. And a little bit about Rythmia. Rythmia is a life advancement center. It's not a plant medicine center. It's an all-inclusive life advancement center that uses plant medicine and metaphysical teachings to bring about amazing change in people. Hey, Claudia. Hi, Zinlin. To bring about amazing change. And hi, Maria. And I want to tell you a little bit about what that change looks like, yeah? So today we've had about 7,000 people through the doors. 7,000. And 95.12% of them, that's 951 out of every 1,000, has had a life-changing miracle during their stay. Hey, Jeff. A life-changing miracle during their stay. If you read the reviews on TripAdvisor, we are the #1 customer-rated resort in the world. Little us in Costa Rica. And why? Well, we believe in something that we saw in a plant medicine journey that constantly repeats itself here. That people have something, hey Carrie, that people have something in their life that they experience between when they're conceived and about 5 years old that splits them, and that this split is the source of all disease, all disappointment, all sadness, all addictions, all disorders, and when you put it back together, boom, the lights go back on again. And this is absolutely the truth of what we see. And so, hey Julia, you had a miracle baby after coming through with me. I love that. And so anyway, so this beautiful event happens, and happens to thousands and thousands upon thousands of people. How many people are coming to Rythmia? Well, every week there's 90 people, yeah? We have room for about 96, but we keep it to like 90, and it happens week in and week out and week out and week out, and 95% of those people have this miracle in their life. So, hey Mike, hey Peter. So listen, so I wanted to tell you I had an interesting journey on Thursday. It's my New Year's journey for my New Year's, yeah? And I just asked, I said to the medicine, I said to her, I said, why so sad? Why is everybody so sad? I mean, I can see why some people are so sad if they're in a war-torn country and in poverty, but I meet all these people every week. I meet people that are like rich people and all different middle class, all different things, and everybody is sad. And so I got back to why. Not everybody. People who are merged are in a different category, but I'm going to go with the unmerged. And when I say that people who are merged are in a different category, I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. But I talk about the unmerged. So what is the source of this sadness? And the medicine told me it's disappointment. And I said, oh, disappointment, that's interesting. And I said, why disappointment? What is the source of disappointment? And here's the truth. People are looking for things. They're looking for shortcuts. They're looking for... they're expecting to attract things in the form of relationships that they themselves are not vibrating at, because anybody who's done any of this works knows 1,000% that you cannot attract something different than you're vibrating at. And if things are coming into you that you look at and go, well, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, you're kidding yourself. It is you. So you can't attract anything that vibrates differently than you. It's just impossible to do. So expecting to attract something different while vibrating on a different thing is a great cause of the disappointment. You know, the other cause of the disappointment is improper timelines. What do I mean by improper timelines? I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are in business, if you start a business and you expect for it to be an out-of-the-park home run in under 10 years, in under 7 years, or in the extremes, under 5 years, you're kidding yourself. So you're going to be disappointed. You're just going to be disappointed. So instead of, if you remove these things from your thinking, if you remove looking for shortcuts, if you remove trying to attract something that vibrates higher than you, if you remove unrealistic expectations on when you'll be successful, because I'm going to tell you the truth about this thing. Here's the truth of the truth of the truth. It's going to take longer. It's going to be harder, but it's going to be so much bigger than you ever imagined. And this is the truth. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are selling things that contradict this. Like, I'm going to show you how you can invest a little and get a lot. Wrong. All of your senses should go off with that person. I'm going to show you how to make money the easy way. Wrong. I'm going to show you that you don't have to give a lot in order to get a lot in a relationship. Wrong. You have a common sense bullshit meter in you, and it should fire every time you hear something contrary to what common sense, conventional wisdom, and the laws of the universe dictate. Here's the truth of the truth. It's fucking hard to be in a relationship. And it's impossible to attract something that you're not vibrating at. So that's all thing. It is hard to make a lot of money. It is hard to build an unbeatable brand. It is hard to live in financial abundance. It is. Is it possible? Not only is it possible, it's your birthright. Is it going to take longer than these quick buck artists or these people selling these gimmicky fucking bullshit things? Yes, it's going to take longer. It's going to be harder, and it's going to give you much more than you've ever imagined. So all of a sudden now, if we don't, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to adjust your expectations on the form of quantity. Please don't do that. So what a lot of people say is, well, maybe I just deserve less. Wrong. You deserve everything. You deserve everything this world has. But you have to get it in the right time. So what you want to adjust is not the quantity, it's the time horizon. I have to tell you what, if you look into every overnight success and you really rip it apart, it's a 10-year deal. It's a 10-year deal. I want to show you something. I bought this thing. I bought this business. I started Rythmia. I bought it in 2015. I got licensed and opened in 2016. 2016. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going on my 5th year. And I'm about halfway there to a super success. Halfway there. So my time horizon was always 10 years is when I open a business, I look at a decade. It's going to take me a decade to figure it out, get it right, make it fire right, get everybody in line, and I know it. If you start with a time horizon of 2 or 3 years, you're just going to upset yourself. You're just going to say, oh, fuck, it's all wrong. I fucked up again. I fell short. I did this. I did that. And it's all wrong. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Because it does take time to master something, to get good at something, to get great at something. It does. And why is it hard? Because anything where you're blazing a trail is always hard. Here's the thing. It's hard to build your road, and that takes a while, but it's easy to run up and down that road after it's built for the rest of your life. That's why. That's why these things work this way. And anytime somebody's trying to sell you something different, like you just have to wiggle your nose and you're going to have all this, it's bullshit. It's just a fucking lie. So listen, let's get out of lies and let's get in the truth. One thing that I can tell you is this, is that the more closely you understand the truth, and somebody just said the medicine's not a shortcut. The medicine is a shortcut, but it's not. So what do I mean by that? The medicine done right is about 10 years worth of pain in 1 week. That's the truth. So it's no shortcut. It may be a shortcut in time. It's not a shortcut in effort. And that is the truth. So listen, let's all get in truth. And from truth, we can make anything happen. Why do most businesses fail? They fail because people over or underestimate different parts of the business. What does that mean? That means that they're not in truth. Oh, like, I hear this a lot. Guy opens up a restaurant, the restaurant's not doing good, and he says, these people don't understand what good food is. Well, fuck that, they do. You know how you can tell? You can tell by how much of it they're buying from you. So I'm going to tell you that, and then this is where people get and mystery and suspicion and all these different things, and they lose it in their consulting businesses. I know guys that have these high-ticket consulting businesses, and everybody they consult with is mad at them. Well, that's a terrible way to run your life, right? I have this high-ticket consulting business, and my satisfaction rate is everybody's pissed at me. Well, fuck, come on, wake up. And it's not because the client doesn't know. The client does know. People aren't that dumb. They know what they like. They know if it's good for them. So please, let's get it together. Let's live in truth, and let's take a look at our thing. And instead of calling the customers wrong, why don't we do this? Why don't we build something that is so good that people rave about it? Why don't we offer a value equation that is so great that people say, hey, you charged me this, but I would have paid anything for it. Now we're talking. And I don't care if you're talking about baking cookies, writing a book, doing a healing on someone. I mean, if you ever watched Mitra, my friend Mitra or Leo, these guys do healings. God darn it, like I watch them heal 70, 80, 90, 100 people in a night, and they give the last person the same amount of energy that they gave the first person. Wow. Where do they get that from? Where do they get that from? They get it from here, and in the giving they're getting. So what is this thing? And JFK said it, like he said it and made it famous, right? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This is the same thing to your business. This is the same thing to your profession. Don't ask what it can do for you. Ask what you can do for it. How can I be better? How can I be better? And then forget about a short payday. Forget about making it a financial success, a huge financial success in 2 to 3 years. Forget about it. Forget about it. An overnight success is 5 years or 7 years, honestly, because usually it takes 10. I'm way ahead of schedule. I'm in year 5 and we're sold out, right? All the time. But that still doesn't mean we're a success. Just because we're sold out does not mean we're a success. When by a success, I mean being better at it than anybody who ever was. Give yourself 10 years. And once that happens to you, people will pay you anything for what you have. Now, you can't take advantage of that and charge anything, but you can live in very nice abundance by doing it. And you'll be the best at the thing that you've chosen. So I'm going to tell you, it's not an act of what it's doing for me. It's an act of what am I doing for it. Every day that I get up here, I look around and say, what could I possibly be doing better here? And I am good at business. I'm lucky in so much as that I'm good at it. Which means what? I look at my own businesses in truth. In truth. That this is what it needs. We could be better at this. We could do this better. We should be better at this. Da 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 da. And that's how we have to look at ourselves. Because in this thing too, we have an agreement with the universe that we're going to perform and to progress. There's an agreement. And that agreement is I'm going to show up for the universe. And now I got to be truthful about that as well. There is no area of your life that you can harbor a lie. Once you harbor a lie, the rest of it from that point gets crinkled all the way down. Hey, Justin, and I don't want that to happen to us because we're the ones responsible for helping participate in this shift to keep this thing going, to bring the light, to bring the truth. We're in it together, and we're acting as one. We should be, right? So, if you're sad and disappointed, you're doing a couple of different things. You're either looking, your time frame, your horizon, your time horizons are wrong. I'm not where I thought I would be. Well, you know what? It's because your time horizons are wrong. You're not wrong. You just expected it too quickly. And now you're walking around butt-ass hurt. Oh, that didn't work. I can't believe I failed again. When the whole fucking time you're running a mile race and you're judging it where you're at the first quarter. Fucking the first quarter doesn't matter. You're running a mile race. You think you're running a 100-meter race, but you're running a mile race. And that's what consciousness is being aware. What being conscious is being aware. So, when we're aware of what we're doing, we increase our time horizons. I'm going to tell you what. You're going to be better at it than you ever thought you're going to be. It's going to take longer than you thought. It's going to be harder than you thought. And it's going to give you much more than you ever imagined. And what do I mean by that? I mean you're going to be bigger than you've ever been. You're going to help more people than you ever dreamed. And you're going to be rewarded in a better way than you've ever imagined. And that is the absolute truth. And if you take that and you say, okay, I want to do it a different way, I'm the exception, I'm going to get there in a year and a half, I got to tell you what, you're not. You're not. It's just, you're not. And if you do by accident, do me a favor, just look up some research on the people who won the lottery. Tell me what happens to them. You take you 5 minutes, about 70% are bankrupt in 5 years. Because it was a fluke thing. They weren't prepared for it. So the thing is, if you have a super success in your business too early, you won't be prepared for it. You'll probably stumble and it'll go down, and then it might go back up later. You have to get good enough to vibrate where you want your business to vibrate. You have to stay it. You have to keep the course, and you cannot change your horizons. You can't set it up so that you're upset every day. Because I can tell you what, if you say it's going to take you 10 years to be this incredible author, or this incredible architect, or this incredible attorney, or this incredible healer, or this incredible business that you're going to start, and it's really going to take 10 years, and you put an unrealistic timeline of 2, then you're either going to quit at the end of the second year and never realize your dream, or you're going to spend 8 years in hell. Who wants to spend 8 years in hell? Who wants to do it? Nobody. I know. So I look at everything and say, okay, I'm on a 10-year horizon. I'll be on a 10-year horizon for this. I'll be on a 10-year horizon for that. I'll set my goals the right way. I'll set my parameters and time frames the right way. But I know I'm going to be more than I've ever been. How do I know this? I'm going to tell you something. When I was young, I wanted to have $10 million. This was my big thing. I'm going to make $10 million. And I wanted to do it in 3 years. And the truth is, it took 10 years, but I made almost $100 million. Wow. So I was off by 3 times in time, but I got more than 10 times what I thought I would get. Wow. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. It happens everywhere. That it's going to take longer, and you're going to get more than you've ever imagined. Now, what allows you to stay in, hey Rana, what allows you to stay in the game that long? Here's what does. That you pick the thing that you're in from your heart. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to give it 10 years. So you have to have picked it from this centered piece of your heart. You have to have picked what you're doing from a place of love. That I really want to be a chef, or I really want to be a healer, or I really want to be a mom, or I really want to be a this, or I really want to be an artist. Because if you don't, you'll give up. You'll give up in year 3. And I don't want you to give up. Because the world needs, what does the universe want us to be? Our highest potential. How do we get to our highest potential? By sticking with our craft. because you constantly get better and better and better at it. And I want you guys to be the best that you can possibly be, because in of itself, the mastery of a particular thing brings satisfaction. It brings, not short-term, long-term contentment. Things that are beautiful and useful and loving in our lives. So that's my message for the week. God bless you. God love you. God keep you. And please come to Rythmia. As I said before, we're getting booked out every week. So call in advance. Book for June or July or September. Book now. Get in there and book it, because it makes all the difference in the world. When you walk through life merged, then these kinds of conversations are just refreshers, because you're already there. You're already looking at things in the right time frames. You're already in the thing that your heart called you to do. So please come to Rythmia. Please see what we're doing. Please experience this life in this week, and you will never be the same after it. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. And we will see you next week. God bless.